Hello and welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Thanks so much for joining us once again. Now, this week we're completing our hat trick of wXw talent that we've had in the sort of recent few weeks. First, we had Axel Tischer on the show. Then we had Robert Dreisker, the head coach of the wXw Academy. We're completing the trio now with a three-time wXw Unified World Champion. He's very familiar to people over in the UK as well. Obviously, he's wrestled for places like Progress and Resurgence in recent months. He's hoping to come over a lot more before the end of the year, and hopefully we'll see him back because he'll have some absolutely cracking matches. We're going to be talking to him about wrestling in the UK, about wrestling in Germany, about his hopes for the future, and about the time he was, for a brief while, a chef in a restaurant making desserts. So plenty of good stuff to be had on this episode. Delighted to welcome our guest this week. It is Jurn Simmons. Jurn, thank you so much for coming on the show. Great to have you on. At the time that we're recording this, it's just after you appeared at Progress, their show in April. Talk to me about that. You faced off in a four-way against three other wXw guys. How was that whole experience?
I mean, I thought it was sweet because at least I know all three guys fairly well, so I also know what they're capable of. So I know the end product was going to be solid, was going to be really good. And at the end of the day, I was super happy with it, especially because I think all four of us in general don't really like four ways or three ways. So, but I think most wrestlers don't, it's kind of a hassle to put it all together.
Yeah.
But, I think that being said, it was three really good guys to do a four-way with, which sounds weird. But, so I thought that was cool. I would have liked to work some of the English dudes because obviously that is kind of thing. If people look any of us up, especially in combination with each other, I think people can find that we've worked a bunch, So then maybe it's it's kind of a safe match to make. I don't know, but I think the idea was hey, here's the four guys that English people aren't too familiar with that get to showcase what they can do, and I think we did that.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think you did as well, and that's the thing, isn't it? I was going to say, is it almost a weird experience to have this match that's, all you wXw guys who have faced each other a lot in the past over in Germany, but to be doing it in the UK in front of a different crowd where I guess half will know you because they're the hardcore fans who know European wrestling as well, but where other people may not have seen you before.
Yeah, I think obviously Axel's the main one people will know because he's had the most exposure out of all four of us. I've been over for Progress for a couple of times before, I think twice. And then, I've done I think in general I've done more UK stuff than Maggot and Bobby. So there's some sort of familiarity, but still for me it's been a while since I've been in UK, right? Especially last time was before the pandemic, and even then it was a while before the pandemic. Yeah. So, I think all of us kind of went in there with, something to prove and just saw it as an opportunity for us to show ourselves and show, who we are and what we can do, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Are you starting to see that now in terms of, because I think, again, like I mentioned, the sort of hardcore fans will know a lot of wXw guys from your work. And obviously you're on the network as well, the WWE network, so people get exposure to you that way. But do you think there's sort of more of a blend we're starting to see now between sort of British wrestling and European wrestling in terms of sort of stars chopping and changing, coming over, doing other shows and sort of helping expose those other markets?
Yeah, I think so. But I think in general, I think a lot of it has to do with during the pandemic, either, people getting signed up or, getting out of wrestling for other reasons.
Yeah.
Shouldn't get into, but so I think I don't want to say there's a big void or whatever, but it does change the landscape a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think because of that, it just kind of creates opportunity for these more like new, like, I don't know, would you say crossover?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Because
type of deal?
that's the thing. Yeah, we've spoken to a few people as well, and you mentioned sort of like that void that was left by things like speaking out and the pandemic as
Yeah.
well, where people moved off or didn't come back to wrestling, things like that.
Yeah.
And obviously all those things were terrible, and it was awful to see, especially with speaking out, and also with the pandemic as well, just wrestling not happening.
Yeah.
But we've spoken to a few people about this. But in purely wrestling terms, do you think that was that good thing in the fact that it opened, like you said, this sort of void where these stars who may not have got the opportunity otherwise have come in and filled those gaps?
Yeah, I do think, I do think it has like created a lot of opportunity for like fresh, new people, like, and I mean, I think in general it was good because it got a lot of trashy people out of wrestling.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah,
so that's obviously always good. It's like something we should strive to have more of. I think like we should all hold each other accountable as well. Like I'm a big believer of that.
Absolutely.
But, I think it just creates like I said, like a kind of a land of opportunity for maybe people that like were untested, even like or unproven. A lot of wrestling is out of sight, out of mind, right? So like, for example, as it would pertain to me, like I had a decent time where like I was going places, I guess, and had a decent amount of bookings, including like in the UK and stuff. And then I got injured, and then like it all kind of fell down. And I never really, I don't want to say like recovered, but like I never really picked that back up. So this like maybe would be a good time to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I honestly think it's also maybe from a fan's perspective, like exciting, because you're not getting a lot of the same old stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think wrestling has a tendency to like, okay, like something gets popular and people are gonna ride it like till death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that means like everything like just kind of, I don't want to say gets overexposed, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the same stuff happens like too much. So this like kind of just wipes the slate clean, and I think it presents a lot of opportunity for talent and a lot of like exciting possibilities for fans.
For sure, absolutely. No, I totally agree. And it's good to see, for sure. As well, you mentioned sort of you only had like a couple of times being at Progress. I know you sort of, again, come to the UK a little bit sporadically, do the odd show here and there. Is it something you'd like to do more of? Is it something you're, I guess, almost able to do more of? Is that something that your schedule allows for, or is it quite difficult and that's why you don't do it as much?
Well, it used to be really difficult because wXw back in the day was like a lot more busy. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously wXw is like my my foremost promotion.
Yes.
Because they used to run nearly every weekend, so it's hard to get shows at other places in. That eventually like tapered off like a little bit, and now especially since the pandemic, it's changed a lot. So I think like nowadays, like my schedule like allows me to work those days, like work other promotions way more, and like and recently I've been seeing that, so like that's been super fun for me, because that's the thing. Like I would love to do more of Progress. I would love to do like more of like the UK in general, but like also all over the place. I think I went to Sweden like a week and a half ago, which was super sweet. Like I'd never been there. The fans over there were rabid, so like it was super cool. Because the thing for me as well, thankfully at wXw there's a lot of fresh faces now as well, but I have like worked a bunch with a lot of the wXw talent. So for me personally, it's like it's exciting to work with other people. You know what I mean? Like when I went to like that's what I'm saying. Like with the 4-way, I would have liked to work like a UK talent there, but obviously like that didn't happen. But like, for example, Like I think like I would like to work like Charlie Sterling,
Mm,
Gene Munny, like all these people that I saw at the show that I think are great,
yeah.
So, and I think like that would be a lot of fun. So hopefully, I would
Absolutely,
be
yeah, we'd love
open
to
more
see that.
often.
Yeah, that's something we definitely want to see. And Gene Munny is a name I want to bring up with you because you have faced Gene Munny recently, haven't you? But not as yourself.
Yeah,
And
that was kind of a unique situation
yeah, go on. So
where,
obviously, this was we had Gene on the show and he talked to us about how this whole match came together.
yeah.
But when were you told that you would be playing Gene Munny in this match?
Um, I think I was told when I basically got the reader for the show, or
Right.
like the graphic was announced. But like even with the graphic, I didn't really know what was going
No,
on.
I don't think
You know what I
anyone
mean?
knew what to expect. Like I saw the
Yeah,
graphic and I was like, what are they planning here?
yeah. Like I remember like they contacted me and they like they contacted me also like with the premise of working Gene.
Mm,
So I was just like, yeah, like that sounds super fun. Let's do it. And then apparently I had to work Gene as Gene. So, but I kind of found out, like we got like somewhat of heads up
mm.
beforehand, like I said, like through the reader, but obviously like details were kind of ironed out on the day of, like when I got there. So,
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you go about that in terms of, I guess, getting into the very unique mindset that is Gene Munny, but also like the what you were wearing and stuff. How long did it take you to sort of put the whole your version of him together?
well, thankfully, Gene has a lot of sets of gear. So,
Ah,
and he brought a lot of that to the show, so you were able to kind of pick and choose. And then, of course, there's always all like there's the staples with the nipple tape and
mm,
like all that kind of stuff. Besides that, it's just kind of like I remember thinking like I don't know if I can do Gene Munny. I'm just, like I've gotten so used to like just doing me.
yeah.
So, but I think at the end of the day, like it kind of worked out. Like
Mm. Yeah, for sure. I think
I
it was hilarious. It was absolutely brilliant. It was just one of the most bizarre matches I've ever seen.
thank you.
But was it that way for you? Did you get in the ring and you're seeing obviously Gene as Gene, but then Visage as Gene, and was it Doris as well as the ref who
Yeah.
was Gene? Yeah, like is that just odd looking around, seeing everyone sort of dressed the same and being like, what is happening here?
Well, yeah, no, I guess like it's sort of we'd already been dressed like that for a while, so like I
Mm,
guess like that you're kind of get used to it, like seeing each other backstage all dressed as Gene, so
yeah,
that kind of normalizes it, I suppose. I just remember like calling the match was a little like, how do we go about
yeah.
this sort of thing?
I was going to
Yeah,
say, did you know
because
much of his like moveset and stuff before that you had to like get down with, like understand so you could do it yourself?
well, that's the thing. Like, obviously, like I've seen Gene work, but like what people do, like also changes over
Mm,
time. So, like, I don't know, like if I was super up to date with like everything he did.
mm.
So, but luckily, he was gracious enough to tell us. and then you just kind of put the pieces together,
Mm.
right? Like, which is basically like then it just becomes like any other match,
Yeah.
really. So, yeah, like you just kind of have to accept it for
Mm.
what it is. Like, I think that was it for me. Like, it's just like, okay, like so we're doing this. Let's do it like this,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was going to say, have you like, I guess, how do I put it? Have you been in any sort of matches that are that bizarre? I guess because obviously, like you mentioned, the match was sort of just a match once you get past the fact that everyone's dressed as Gene Munny. But either in terms of concept or the actual match, have you been in any matches that you're like that was weirder than that the Gene Munny match?
I don't think so, man. Like I think, like I said, like the foremost promotion I've been working for is WXW, and
Mm.
WXW overall with their wrestling, I think is pretty straightforward. Like I personally always love doing gimmick matches.
Yeah.
But I'm always of the belief like there has to be a reason for the
Mm.
gimmick match. Like it has to crescendo. You know what I mean? Like this happens, gimmick match. So, but I always prefer doing that because I treat them like as a final thing, as a blow off. So you kind of go all out. Besides that, I remember I once had a tag match with the Spirit Squad.
Oh, right, yeah.
At like World Tag League. That one was super fun for me, especially because the three of us like kind of went, and they especially like went out of their way to like produce the thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they like went ahead, like came up with all this stuff. It was like, okay, get someone from cameras in the ring for this and that. And like we had all like these weird spots with arm wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say like that one, I guess, like was up there as well, as far as like just being like somewhat zany.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, like most of my career has been pretty straightforward.
Which is, I guess, good as well. You know, you like, I get, do you prefer that? Do you prefer it to be like, you know, in terms of, how do you feel about it? Just in terms of like the more gimmick matches, or are you more of a like, you know, traditional one-on-one grapple kind of guy?
Yeah, I think I'm more of a traditional guy. Like I would say like if it comes to grappling, like I'm not the best grappler, you know, like, but that's, I don't know, like I kind of made my bed that way because I was always treated like as like a big guy, right? So my idea was like, okay, like I'll roll with this, and then if like people like if we go to grapple, if we go to wrestle, you know, I'll just have people out wrestle me, because that's not.
Yeah,
I got to play to my strengths, but I also got to play to the other person's strength. So that's kind of like, because of that, it kind of got into this groove of where, oh yeah, I never really technically wrestled. Yeah, you know, which, you know, like I can do it. It's just, I don't know, like it makes more sense for me to have the other guy do it better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I totally understand that. And you mentioned as well, obviously some other Brit Wres guys to face. You mentioned Gene Munny, but are there any other guys you've sort of like got your eye on over here that, you know, whether you was to come back at Progress or anywhere else, that you'd be like, oh, I'd like to face them?
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm usually, you know, like I'm usually like I'm not a list guy. You know what I mean?
Sure,
sure. A lot of people come with lists. It's like I'll work whoever whenever. You know what I mean? Like I think there's fun to be had with like to work anyone really. You know, but like from going to Progress like the other day. Like I said, I would really love to work Charlie Sterling.
Yeah, that'd be a great match.
Fantastic. For sure. Warren Banks, I think would be cool. You know, I like Matt Hurt. So like I don't think it'd be Progress, but you know, but like that, like I think there's a bunch of UK guys that I would love to work. Besides that, like maybe I'm not aware enough of the American scene nowadays to be able to go like, hey, I want to work this American person. I guess I would say Effie, because I see Effie on my socials all the time, so I guess he's doing well, you know. But and besides that, the one match that I do really want is Eddie Kingston. Yeah, because
that would be amazing.
Because like obviously we've had a lot of back and forth over the years now, I guess, on social media and all that kind of stuff. But he's signed now, so. But like, I guess like I'll do the one-off AEW match. Yeah, that'd be epic if they want me. Yeah,
no, that would be amazing to see. We'd love to see that. Well, again, we're talking about we talked about the British wrestling. Let's talk about wXw. Sure. Talk to me about I guess about the up and coming talent there, because we've spoken about it before them coming through. Talk to me about sort of, because we've had, again, like I mentioned, Robert Dreisker on the show talking about the academy. If someone was to come to you, maybe a British wrestling fan was to come to you, wanted to start getting into wXw, and were like, who are the up and coming talents that I should be keeping an eye out for? Who would you say then?
I guess I would say like Stephanie Mays is somebody that I think is doing really well. Besides that, I guess you could still say Maggot, even though like he's been around for a while now, is kind of like he's on the up and up, you know. So I guess like he's literally up and coming. Besides that, I think like Heisenberg's really good, obviously. Nathaniel, you know. So I think it, and then, like they got an influx of Hungarian people now. Yeah. You know? Like I remember like I worked in the pandemic, I worked a short match with Peter Tihani, who I thought like was really solid. I thought he was really good. I think Gulias, I work with him on Carrot Weekend as well. I thought like he was good too.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing well with like the Hungarians. And then besides that, I have to think like, I guess like there's like some of the French guys as well, but I feel like I don't know how up and coming they are, especially considering like Tristan's like 2-time wXw champion at this point.
Yeah.
So he's the main French guy. And Sensa's been around for a minute. You know what I mean? So the only other one, like as far as that goes, like Igor Blanc. I personally really like Rod und Flot. You know, like the tag team of Nikita, Charisma, and Schenkenberg. Even though Shank has been around for forever. Yeah. I remember like he was booked as a singles guy in WXW before I even got there. So, but you know, like he's been out of the loop for a while, and like I guess you could say as a tag team they're up and coming. So like I really like that.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. And I was going to ask you, because you mentioned sort of like, you know, people from all over Europe there. I want to ask, because I think when, especially as a British wrestling fan, when I think European wrestling, my initial thought is WXW. Sure. But again, with people like Axel and Robert that we've had on, especially since the pandemic, since lockdown and everything like that, have you seen a growth in wrestling across Europe, just from the places you've been, in terms of the fan support and more people across Europe getting opportunities, where I guess shows are, I guess, traditionally perceived to be a bit smaller?
Yeah, like I said, like I was in Sweden not too long ago for Svensk wrestling, and like I was super like happily surprised that the place was easily like sold out. I think like at like 500 something people, and then like all the fans were just super into it, like just rabid, you know. So I think like obviously like there's something that maybe like flies under a lot of people's radars, but something that's obviously like hot and going, you know. Besides that, like I personally have like plenty of experience like with the Dutch scene, obviously because I am Dutch, so that makes sense. I think like for example, like with Pro Wrestling Holland, the main Dutch promotion that I work for, pre-pandemic they already like had a good thing going where it was like up and coming as well, because they've got like a solid like foundation, like a good like group of people that come to every show, like a solid fan base, and now it's starting to pull in like all these other people. So like the last shows, so I think we've done only like 2 shows after the pandemic, but like the shows before that as well, we're doing really well, you know. And I think besides that, like there's always, wrestling is super hot in France, and you know, like I've been over there a couple of times, and you'll have like the weirdest like one-off small shows, and there's a ton of people there for some reason, and they're all going crazy. So you know, like I think in general, like wrestling in Europe is in a pretty good spot right now, you know, especially because like there's a bunch of talents that are everywhere, you know, which is always the best thing. Like you want to be everywhere so you get the most experience that you can. So yeah, overall I think it's doing really well, actually.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And that's great to hear as well. Is I was going to say, having, you know, had Robert on it, something I wanted to bring up is sort of coaching or like, you know, working with the academy, you know, something you already do in like maybe a small part, or is it something you'd consider doing or like to do in the future?
I've done like the odd seminar here and there for the academy. I don't think I've like done one since Dreiske took over. But I don't really see myself as a coaching type. No, I think I'm better at it now, but especially back in the day, like I was really impatient. Sure. You know? So for me, like most of the athletic stuff in wrestling like comes pretty easy. So when somebody, for example, is having difficulty doing a forward roll, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. Yeah. You know, so, and then like I get impatient. Like I said, like I think I'm better at it now, probably because I'm a little older and I'm not like, I don't have as much of a stick up my ass. But So I like working with like younger wrestlers, I guess, like on shows, doing matches, all that kind of stuff. I like doing that.
Yeah.
But that's also because like I feel like okay, now I'm also doing the match, so it's kind of like it's more of a sense of control, maybe. Yeah. But as far as coaching goes, I don't think I'm the best fit for it.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And then in terms of, again, like, I guess your hopes for the rest of the year and maybe into next year as well, you mentioned wanting to wrestle over perhaps in the UK more. What about other places, America, Japan, Australia? Are those sort of on your radar as things you'd like to do?
Sure. I mean, like, for me, it's like, I used to be like super focused, being like, oh, like I just want to get signed and that's it. I've kind of let that go over the years because I feel like it made me like super bitter and frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's like now I just kind of see how everything goes and try to like make the best of any situation that's given to me.
Yeah.
So like obviously like I would love to go everywhere and if but it has to be presented to me. I guess like that's the thing because like I'm not for example like Ilya who's super motivational is like, oh, you got to work for it and then you'll get everything or whatever. Like no, I don't think that's how the world works. Like things have to fall into place and not everything's up to you. Yeah. So that being said, like I have a bunch of friends in Australia now due to wrestling, so obviously I would love to go there. Besides that, America, I think, like would be super fun. Japan as well. I will say, personally, I'm not like, there's a bunch of wrestlers who are super into Japanese wrestling. Yeah. And like, I grew up a WWE guy. You know what I mean? Like that was my thing. I like Japanese wrestling, but I don't obsess over it.
Yeah, sure.
The way a lot of other people do. But I still think that me as a performer would work over there. So, like I'm not opposed to anything.
Cool. Really. Like, well, that's something. Yeah, that's something we'd love to see. Like, anyone who's watching this, you can get Jurn out, get on the phone, get it done, because that's what we want to see.
If somebody wants to manage me and just get me booked everywhere, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Brilliant. Well, we've got a feature on our podcast called The Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this is sort of like a shoot. This is about you. We're going to get to know you a little bit now.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions and you let me know what comes to mind.
Yeah.
So the first one is my favorite pre-show meal.
Oh, Monster Energy.
Yeah, simple. Keep it simple. Keep it light.
Yeah. Just like one can of Monster Energy. I don't like to eat too much because then beforehand I feel bloated. Yeah.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Do you have a like particular monster like color or flavor that you go for? It's like the go-to.
Anything with zero sugar and like no calories because I gotta watch my figure.
Sure. Absolutely. It's not like you're burning all the calories in the ring anyway.
No.
Well, on the opposite end of the spectrum, then it's the next one is my favorite post pinfall pig out.
Ooh, there was a time where I was a big fan of like a Bacon King burger.
Oh, nice, yeah.
King. So, but like nowadays, I'm in a relationship with like a great woman, but she's vegan, so she hates me eating bacon. Right. So I guess I would just have to go for like a cheeseburger.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that's what the bacon's the problem, not the rest of the meat. The rest of the meat's fine.
No, I mean like but it goes into like that. Like pigs, I guess, like are like treated even worse. Than the rest, which blows my mind because animals are already treated super poorly. But
that's fair enough. You can always keep it secret. You can always get like a Bacon King on the road and like be like, no, I didn't have one. What?
Yeah, exactly. Like where she's not looking.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have the bacon.
Brilliant. Well, they're not all food related, but this last one is food related, and it's my favorite type of food. So there's no show on. It's just a regular day. Like you can have any food you want. What do you go for?
All right, it's one or two. So it's either spare ribs.
Nice.
Like a big time meat again, but it's either spare ribs or pizza. And like when I go for pizza, I tend to go for 4 cheeses.
Nice.
But, like I view that's a big weakness.
Sure.
Spare ribs and pizza. So.
But again, like we mentioned, you can afford it because you're in the gym and burning off the calories in the ring is fine. Like,
yeah. And as long as I don't eat too much other stuff that day, it's cool.
yeah, exactly. See, I'll eat that stuff and then not go to the gym or be wrestling. So like, then that's the problem.
Yeah, just gotta watch my overall calorie intake, right? So.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, the next one is the song that gets me the most hyped.
Oh man. There's like a lot of people that will actually listen to music. Like I'll see them walk around backstage to like with their headphones on or like ears in. And I'm just like, man, like I'm not like that. I remember one time I had a triple threat with Bad Bones John Klinger and Ilya Dragunov. And like I don't know if you like how much you know about them, but both of them are pretty intense.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah, they see me in the ring. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So like I remember like especially back in the day, Ilya had this whole like getting ready for a match like routine where he would like freak out and like get all fired up. And then like so we have this triple threat. At one point, like in the room, there's Ilya like just yelling and getting fired up. And then like in the corner, John is standing there like, you know, like firing himself up as well. And I'm just sitting at the bar. And I remember Julian Nero came up to me, like, you can, like, this is like a sketch. You know, he's like just three completely different people. But so I don't really, as soon as I walk out, that's like, I just turn it on, you know? As far as like, maybe like songs that's for like gym motivation, like, I guess that would work. I think I listen to Rubber Band Man from the Spinners a lot.
Oh, okay.
During working out, I put it on repeat a lot.
Nice.
It loops well.
Yeah. Sure. Well, then the next one, again, depending on, you know, how deep into music you are, the next one is my favorite band. Like, this is just ever, like, you know, it can be a solo singer, like, music artist in general.
I used to be, like, a really big fan of Disturbed.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
I still am. You know, I'll still listen to their stuff all the time. But I do think it's a little bit of, like, okay, this is obviously something I was into when I was an edgy teenager. So, but it stuck with me. So I like Disturbed. Besides that, like, I'm a big fan of Flight of the Conchords.
Nice. Love Flight of the Conchords. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So, I would say, like, they're one of my favorites. I don't know if I have a number one favorite. You know, but, like, those are some of them.
Nice. Yeah. No, both great bands. Very different bands.
Yeah.
But both great bands.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't see them on the same bill together. That would be odd.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah, just one supporting the other. That'd be bizarre.
Yeah. Besides that, like, I also have to give one shout out to Michael Bolton.
That's, again, very, very different.
Yeah, it's very different. It's also, like, it's not a band, it's just a person.
No, I'm loving that, though. Very eclectic music taste. From Disturbed to Michael Bolton to Flight of the Conchords.
I mean, it's all, like, different periods of my life, you know? So, like, because I grew up on Michael Bolton. My mom played all the time. And then I, like I said, I became an edgy teenager, so I listened to Disturbed. And then, like, after that, I don't know, I kind of became like an adult technically, you know, and like you just kind of want to mess around and have fun. So that's why I got into Flight of the Conchords.
Nice, yeah. That's what, a little bit of laugh. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Absolutely. The next one is the movie that I'd show the locker room.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Really?
Yeah.
Classic Marvel.
Without a doubt. Like I have pestered people about this backstage because obviously, you know, there's so many people that are like fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for good reasons.
Yeah.
And including like a lot of the wrestlers. And then, you know, you get to talking about that stuff, and like in the locker room, you talk about all your favorite Marvel movies, and it turns out a lot of people had not seen Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Oh, surprisingly.
Yeah, me too, because that's like one of my favorites, you know. So that's I annoyed a lot of people, especially Wheeler Yuta, about watching Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Has he seen it yet? Do you know?
Yeah.
Now he's seen it. So okay, that's good then. That's good. The nagging works.
Yeah. Like I think like when he did a tour with us at one point, he got Back to America, I want to say, and that's like when you watch Winter Soldier and you like texted me being like, "Yo, like the movie's sick." So
You were right. Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. After wrestling, maybe you can do some sort of movie critic.
Yeah, I watch a lot of movies, like, and it drives my girlfriend nuts because I'll obsess over it and look up like a bunch of stuff, and, like, because especially like from a performer's point of view, like I like watching interviews with like the actors and the director, like, and see like what creatively goes on. So yeah, but then like I'll know like all of the dumbest details.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love it. The next one is my favorite way to relax.
My favorite way to relax is probably just to do nothing. Yeah, like to have a day off and actually do nothing.
Yeah,
like have no obligations. Probably just like order junk food.
Nice.
And watch Temptation Island.
Nice. Okay.
Because
that's an odd TV choice, if I'm honest.
It is, and it's not something that I would have initially thought I would have liked. But now that I've seen a bunch of it, it's like, I wouldn't say it's like a guilty pleasure because I'm pretty open about liking it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just one of those things, like, it's a show that like has so much dumb stuff in it, you know, and it's so just like, you don't have to think while watching it, you know, like it's kind of a mindless show, and then you end up always feeling better about yourself.
You're like, oh yeah, at least I'm not this. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, like, hey, like sometimes I'll think like that I'm not like, you know, like I wouldn't say like I'm not a good person, but that I'm not feeling too hot, and then like I'll look at that show and be like, oh, like some people are absolute scum, so you know, it's all right.
Exactly. Always makes you feel better. Better.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. The next one is my first job.
My first job, and like I guess like officially like my first job was working in a kitchen at a fish restaurant.
Nice.
That was my first
what
job.
Were you doing?
Like I'd done like other, you know, small stuff, you know, like just one-off stuff before that. But I don't know, like I was just a dishwasher and stuff like that, but also like I would prepare desserts.
Nice.
And like other like smaller meals.
Okay.
For people.
Get a fully rounded experience.
Yeah. I mean, like the thing is, like, it was a small restaurant, so they couldn't have a lot of people working at the same time. So if you work there, you had to do like more stuff than just the one thing.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. Do you remember like if you had like a sort of, not necessarily a signature dish, but like when you were making the food or preparing the food, something you were best at? You were like, oh, I like making this one.
I remember I really like making Dame Blanche.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it's obviously it's just like the vanilla ice cream with the chocolate. It's the easiest thing to make, but I was always like, yeah, like I always nailed it. You know,
nice.
Like
you were like, that is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, like, okay, like I do like the right amount of chocolate, you know, like this, that, like I knew like I was doing it well.
Nice.
You know?
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's something you can make at home as well, easy. Date night or something. Yeah.
It's something that like even like when I go out to restaurants to eat nowadays, I look for it, and if they do have it, which usually they do because it's pretty standard. Yeah. I'll order it and be like, all right, how good is yours?
Yeah, you know? Like, oh, mine was better. There's no way.
Yeah.
Brilliant, amazing. Well, there you go. If anyone needs a recipe, hit up Jurn Simmons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. Next one is my greatest fear.
My greatest fear is dying.
Sure, I get that. I'm the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to have a big fear of heights. You know, and like sometimes it still creeps up on me. You know.
Sure.
It's like, for example, like if I'm like in like a 19-story building and you can watch down.
Yeah, I get that.
I think that's kind of creepy. You know what I mean?
I think that's natural for most people, isn't it? To look down from like that height and be like, whoa, that's.
Yeah, I would imagine everybody would feel at least like a little uneasy. Yeah. You know, but I think like dying is my biggest fear because it's the biggest fear is the unknown.
Yeah,
right?
I'm the same. I get that. Like, because you can't comprehend not being able to comprehend anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's as a kid, I used to like lie awake thinking about this. Like I was just like, how does that work? And like, I don't know, like it would freak me
Oh,
out.
it's such a mind fuck for sure.
Yeah,
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 absolutely. No,
yeah.
for sure.
So
I relate to that one. I relate to that. The next one is a couple of wrestling related ones. The first one is my favorite wrestling match ever. It can be one you've been in or one you've seen, whichever.
oh man, I would say as far as like the ones I've been in, there's like been like some of them I feel like have a stain on them due to like who I work with. Like
Sure.
I've worked like some programs with people who should not be
In
named
wrestling, yeah.
and should not have been in wrestling,
Sure.
obviously. Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I do think our matches together were good, but
Yeah.
I'll never, promote them anymore nowadays.
No, absolutely.
Besides that, like I really liked my set of matches with Axeman last year. Like those two matches I thought were fun, especially the second one.
Yeah.
And then I was really proud of my work with Alexander James before the pandemic. Especially like we had a match in Frankfurt. I think like it's Broken Rules, but I don't remember it like exactly.
Nice.
Because I'm bad with towns and dates.
Sure.
It all blends together. But
I can imagine. Yeah,
but like we had a match there that I think was probably our best one. So I think it was also like our first one since the split. And then like one that I always really liked was me versus Bad Bones John Klinger, Shortcut to the Top.
Yeah.
One of the years, I don't remember, like it was supposed to be me versus Zack Sabre Jr., but then he got hurt, so he couldn't make it. And then they replaced him with John, and I think we ended up, and me and John worked together a bunch during that time. Like like every weekend we were, doing matches. But I think that was our best one, like by far.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that one. As far as like matches that like I have never been in, don't include me. I don't know why I said it that weird, but like Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels,
classic. Yeah.
Ladder match. Like that was always like one of my favorites. One of my favorites also Batista versus Triple H from WrestleMania, where Batista won the title. So I was the biggest Batista fan.
Yeah.
Besides that, like, as I said, like I always like gimmick matches. So like stuff like the Elimination Chamber and stuff like were always favorite matches of mine. But like if I think about it as a wrestler now, probably wouldn't be too keen about it, So
but it's a lot of work, isn't it? A lot you got to remember and
yeah. So I guess I also, as for like I would say more recent, but it's also it's already like 10 years ago or something. But the Brock Lesnar John Cena match from SummerSlam, where
really great match.
Yeah, like I love that match because I think that match is definitely a case of like where it's like it's just pure story and like everything works. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, awesome. Some great choices there. Absolutely,
thank you.
Choices. The next one is the loudest pop I've ever heard, and let's say like in person.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have to think about that one. The thing is, like, I would probably say when Ilya came back for a triple threat with John and Walter. Yeah. But for me, like, I was backstage, so I didn't full on hear.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I had to watch backstage on a monitor because I was injured at the time. So, yeah, but like, I think that like is definitely like one of the loudest ones. Besides that, I think Axeman like making a surprise appearance during one of the while he was still signed, like was a pretty loud pop as well.
Nice.
And I think like whenever Alpha Kevin showed up,
sure,
like back in the day when we had the whole gimmick with Karsten, Kevin, Marius, and myself, Kevin was like easily the most over guy in WXW.
Yeah.
So that I remember one specific instance, and like so I guess, and this was super loud as well. they had Peter Fisher and Lucas Di Leo, like two French guys who were a team in the ring, and then like we all came out and Carson cut a promo, and people were chanting for Kevin so loud that you couldn't hear Carson over the speakers. Like, and he had to send Kevin out like for a shoot to be like, hey, like you got to get out of here so people stop chanting. So, you know, like that was pretty crazy.
Incredible. Yeah, love that. That's great. That is great. Final wrestling one is, of course, the obligatory My Dream Match.
Okay. So, like, I've never been a dream match guy, you know. I would say, like, I'd like probably Batista, you know, but I don't think he's ever going to wrestle again.
No, but if he did, we'd love to see that.
Yeah. So, I would say, as for right now, like what I mentioned earlier, I think Eddie Kingston would be the one, you know, like because at least like it's also like in some sort of realm of possibility. I feel like
for sure.
Yeah. So
absolutely, we'd love to see that as well. That'd be epic.
Yeah.
Next one is only a couple more left. The next one's my favorite place in the world.
My favorite place in the world is probably just home.
Nice.
Honestly, like I'm boring, man. Like I can really just enjoy being home. I remember, you know, back in the day, like I would most of the time, I don't go on vacation a lot either, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just purely because like, if I have time off, I like
to do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like to do nothing, just be at home, chill, you know, and like come to rest. Cause I feel like that's the point of a vacation. Like a lot of times people go on vacation, they rush everywhere, and you come back even more stressed than when you left. You know? See the point of that. So yeah, I think my favorite place to be is home.
Nice. Yeah, I'd agree. Well, you say you're not a big sort of like vacation guy, but the final one is my dream holiday destination.
So like, even though I said, as you said, that I'm not a big vacation guy, I do have a bunch of places I still want to go. You know, like I'm a big mythology fan, so I would like to go to Greece and just like see a bunch of stuff there. I would also still like to go, you know, like I've been to Scandinavia a couple of times, but it's just for wrestling. So I'd like to go to more places there as well. And then Iceland has kind of like joined to that. Besides that, you know, like I still like to go to Rome to watch the Colosseum.
Yeah, nice. The classic stuff,
Yeah, and then I think like Japan is somewhere that I'd like to go as well.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like New Zealand has like a lot of beautiful nature and stuff. Like I remember like I said earlier, like Scandinavia, like I had a booking once in Finland, and then like we kind of had like we had a bunch of time to kill, and they put us after the show. They put us as well, like in this cottage, like in nature.
Wow,
and it was sweet. Like it was beautiful. Yeah, you know. So
go back to enjoy it more rather than just wrestling.
Yeah. Like a lot of times with wrestling, like you just kind of fly in and out. You know what I mean? So this. I remember as well, like when I went to Israel with wrestling, and like we had an extra day, and we went to Jerusalem, and that was super cool to see everything as well. You know, so yeah, I do like going sightseeing. It's just I don't know. I guess like I have like a specific taste for sights. I don't know. Yeah. I'm a big nature guy, and I'm a big history guy. So,
nice. Yeah, and that explains that, and that makes total sense. Makes total sense. Brilliant. Well, Jurn Simmons, thank you so much for coming on the Grapple Theory podcast. It's been absolutely wonderful chatting to you. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hey, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. It's been great having you on. We always leave our guests with one final bit of like sort of, you know, a promo to cut. So if anyone watches this and isn't, you know, overly familiar with your work, or even if they are, if they want to come and see you at wXw in Germany or anywhere else in Europe, or if you're over here in BritRest and they want to come and see you at a British show, why is Jurn Simmons going to steal the show wherever you go see him?
Why is Jurn Simmons going to steal the show? I mean, like, I feel like it's pretty easy. Like, not a lot of people have to offer what I have to offer. How many other wrestlers do you see that are 10 times more handsome than movie stars? You know, I like to think that what a lot of people do today, a lot of people have lost the art of professional wrestling, and I like to think that I embody what professional wrestling is to me. I grew up on ruthless aggression. That's what I bring to every show that I'm at. So I think, my credentials speak for themselves. I am incredibly athletic, incredibly charismatic, and I like to think I'm a decent talker too. So I feel like I'm just like a full-on total package in professional wrestling. So.
Amazing. Brilliant. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, thanks so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again for coming on. Really appreciate it.